Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're back over on our YouTube account, and I wanted to go through some of the optimization for some of these heroes. I know there's a lot of questions when it comes to the optimal build, exactly how and who you should be building. And this was really brought on by Mesmer. Mesmer sent me some screenshots and shared with me when we look at Rendell. So when you look at Rendell and when you look at the damage that this hero is capable of if you do build him out a little bit further. Now looking at Rendell, we don't have any engraving on here. I'm hoping to get a couple more copies today of this hero. But when you go from a plus 30 signature item to a plus 40 signature item with this hero specifically, we are seeing his damage almost double. Meaning that, and he shared a screenshot, it was like 318 billion damage that this hero put out. When you engraved him up to 40, it went to 550 billion plus damage, which again is kind of insane when you think of just literally just the only change of getting that plus 40 signature item. So I did bring up my list of kind of optimal builds, premium builds, whatever you want to call them. But overall, there are a few ones that are, and I do want to go over. Now, thinking of Rendell in general, he is one that building at a 409.65 is where they recommend. So we're looking at a plus 40 signature item, the 9 of 9 furniture, which we are almost there. And then of course in the engraving, they are looking at a 65 engraving, which will unlock the ability right here with Soul Serpents. Now, a lot of players have also noted when it comes to this hero specifically, that it is about the Soul Serpents and the damage that the Soul Serpents are putting out. The Soul Serpents go into a frenzy for 6 seconds, gaining 40 points of haste, 40 points of physical pierce. When you couple that with the plus 40 signature item right here, physical pierce and magical pierce, they're going through the roof. That is the reason. And then when you couple on, of course, his very last one, which gives more energy and gives more energy to him, you can keep the Soul Serpents up a lot more, amplifying. And that is where we're seeing, again, almost a 50% increase in damage of this hero itself, just based on the build that it is. What's going on? We have Tushar here, Tommy, Darren, Jordan. Thank you guys for joining me. New Draconic is a monster. Should you continue to build Gwen? So the question is, with the new hero, honestly, if you're building Gwen with the cost, I wouldn't swap heroes. Nexodus, I would not switch heroes just for the simple fact that they are so expensive. If you're a player like me with the Draconic heroes and you're building them out, again, we're still building out Lan. If you're building out Gwen, I would choose, and really I would prefer building out Gwen or building out Lan before I would build out Skyland. Now, the reason being, we know Skyland is a damage dealer, which means a majority of the time they can be easy to kind of swap depending on where they are, depending on the build. Overall, you can swap a lot of damage dealers. It does make it easier. With support heroes in general, they are very, very difficult to replace. You have to remember that when you look at the Draconic heroes, even thinking of tier list wise, Lan is still well above every other Draconic hero that we have there. And look at that, gifting of the memberships. Tushar giving out 5 of the gifts. Awesome to see, guys. I love seeing the little hippos right next to your name. That is awesome. Thank you for giving those out. I do love seeing it. Gwen from Ascended, doing exciting for the next week. Yeah, when they come out with the new, when the new hero's released and you're getting those Draconic insignias for a lot of players, including myself, that is going to make a big, big difference on where we're going to see the heroes, how we're going to utilize those heroes. It is going to make a big difference overall. And of course, the other question was Nox. So looking at Nox, this is another hero, again, thinking of the optimal build and where we're seeing Nox fall right now, he is going right into that SS tier. So he is going right into the top tier. We are also seeing the Awakened version of Thorin going into that SS tier. So again, they are starting to really show what formations are going to be utilized in, where we're seeing the utility in these heroes. So Nox, again, not going above and not going into that SSS tier, which means we're not seeing him above, a lot of the Liberta, the Lucilla, Demia, Aurelia, Lavatoon. We are not seeing Nox as it sits today. That is placing in the tier list higher than that. But when you start thinking of the optimal build, again, thinking of Nox in general, the 409.60, that is the optimal build. And they've really noticed and caught on when it comes to these these plus 40 signature items. They are super expensive to invest in when it comes to the Awakened heroes, when it comes to the support heroes. very, very expensive to invest in and get them built up to that plus 40 signature item. But a lot of those, including Rendell, it is a game changer when you get them built up to the plus 40 because they're just building them so much stronger. You have any information on the new companions update? I believe it's in 2 days. When Damon leaves, the update will come. The next one, I haven't seen anything yet. I don't know if there's a test server for companions. That's kind of a really big question. Who should I SI 40 first? Lavatoon, Damia, or Lucilla? Looking at that, really, a couple of those. Lavatoon works well without the plus 40. So does Damia. Both of those work very well without the plus 40. And again, thinking of the tier list, thinking of where they're at, you could go ahead and put a plus 40 on those. The one out of the support heroes that requires and really recommended the plus 40 is Aurelia. So out of, again, thinking of Damia, thinking of Lavatoon, Aurelia is one. When it looks at the plus 40, players are saying, and again, thinking of our tier list, thinking of the priority within the utility, that this is the one. She is one of the ones that do require a plus 40 signature item to do incredibly well, similar to what we're seeing with Rendell, where if you think of the damage he's putting out, you're seeing 50% of that damage kind of mitigated or lost because you don't have them built to that optimal level. So let's go in. Again, I want to do a couple summons. I want to see if we can get, and I don't know if it reset at this point to get more copies of Rendell. This, of course, was the reset for the entire week. We should have some resources in here, should have a little bit of loot. Looks like we did get some out of the treasure scramble with our leaderboard rewards. So I want to see, and I don't know if we have the desired hero summons, which we do. We do, very good. I jumped 40 floors in a Hippo tower using Nox. Yes, Primo, absolutely. It is kind of crazy how strong some of these heroes are. Even if you're using the trial version of Nox, we have seen him really be a game changer. Again, thinking of Thorin, thinking of Nox, thinking of some of the newer heroes, their utility has went exponentially higher than we've seen heroes in the past. And there's Rendell. I want to see if we have another copy of Rendell anywhere down here, which I do not think we do, meaning that I need 2 copies of him. Now, of course, we want to engrave him, want his utility to be a lot higher, want to build him up a little bit further. So I do not see a copy. So I want to hop over and I'm going to do my regular summons first. If you got questions, guys, drop them down in here. Did 30 with his trial? Yeah, and that's it, Eddie. When you start looking at how broken these heroes are, it's kind of crazy how strong they get in such a very, very short amount of time. But let's hop in. Even here, we have a couple more copies we have to get of Nox to build that out. So I'm hoping, looking at our wish list, we just have Rendell. Here we have Misha. And then, of course, we have no one in the Maulers and then the 2 Light Bearers, which are done. So we are almost completely all 5 stars across the board for all of these heroes that were sitting in here. I'm hoping, there we go, guys. There's a double. It is Rendell. There we go. Anytime that we can get some of these, that is awesome to see. If I can get another copy of him, I don't have to use diamonds in the desired hero summons. That can be very expensive to build them out, but that is awesome that we did get a copy of him. Let's see if we can do it one more time, or if we can get an awakened hero. We are still hoping. It's been a long time, honestly, since we have gotten an awakened hero from the regular summons. It's been a long time. And you know what? I'm going to swap this to Graveborn as well. Maybe, fingers crossed, we can get that copy of Rendell. That would be awesome to see. And right there is Viden. A lot of these, of course, we haven't been recycling. And even when it comes to our regular 4 faction heroes, there's a copy of Pharrell. We haven't been seeing many. With the Awakened heroes, with the Draconic heroes, with the Hypo heroes, with the Celestials. Overall, it doesn't seem like the primary 4 faction heroes that we've seen a lot of the builds, that we've seen a lot of really the heroes being released and being released on a regular basis. It's kind of crazy. Has the guild made the boss an AE? We're right at the other boss. And there we go. There is copy number 2 of Rendell, guys. That is the streaming luck that we always do talk about. If I can get a couple more copies, I will be happy. But I don't think we have enough resources to build Rendell and build out Nox and finish that Awakened version of Thorin. And I'm super excited as well for the new hero that's coming that we don't need to build. The new Draconic hero, I do not, and I will not have any really idea to build him. I don't want to build him. There's a copy of Ivan. We're just going to let him sit. And again, I'm happy we don't have to build him and we're not. What's going on, Bobo? Thanks for joining us. What is good, Jack? Yeah, Rendell. What faction scrolls still without Awakened Heroes? Oh yeah, faction scrolls are still nothing, guys. If you guys remember in here, faction scrolls, you don't have the ability to pull Awakened Heroes. I don't know why they've never adjusted it, why they've never changed it. If you guys remember Dolly's notes, they're doing some updates, they're doing some additions to the Field of Stars, and the big announcement, if you guys did not see, why do you pronounce Rendell like that? What do you mean, Bobo? Some people say Randall, which again, that's traditionally how I've heard it or said it. A lot of people were saying I was saying Randall wrong, and they were going in for Rendell. Again, it's kind of the pronunciation, the potato, tomato, whatever it is. That's why handle, but with an R. Yeah, and again, that's kind of the pronunciation, what players were correcting it originally on. Because again, depends where you're at. I'm in Michigan. I live just outside of Canada. We're very, very close. Some of the pronunciations of the words absolutely coming into YouTube. We knew it was going to be, but there is his engraving in the entirety. And then again, for Nox, I think we have one copy here of Nox. So I only need one more copy of Nox, and then we'll start engraving all of these heroes. Even the Resonating Crystal, I believe we're already at 951, guys. Yeah, exactly. Just what Estelle said. I knew 5 years ago going into AFK Arena with the pronunciation of names, it was always going to be odd and always weird. And the funny thing is, quick story, the funny thing is, when I talk about it or when I ask people that live here what exactly the name is and what is the pronunciation of the name, they say it the same that I do, which is funny because I've heard it for 5 years from viewers and everything else. They say it the exact same way that I do, and to me it's funny that that there's so many times that they're like, oh, you're saying this wrong or that wrong, and then I ask people here and it's the exact same as I'm saying it that people are talking about. It's funny. Why do they release a new hero every day? So every live, they do it every 2 weeks. So they went to a set schedule for AFK Arena, and they did it, and they did this. They said they're doing a new hero release every 2 weeks. And honestly, they have stuck to it, short of probably when they did Eugene and when they did Eugene of Gavis. They have stuck to it for pretty much forever. Since we've gotten these new heroes, it has been very, very consistent. Now, of course, we need one more copy of Nox, but they are coming out with heroes every 2 weeks. As soon as Skyland did come up on the test server, then we've seen the next little Dolly dialogue for the next 2 weeks. There he is. That is going to be coming up with the next hero. And again, this is the way that they've been done it. This is the way that they've been doing it. You want to talk about a big announcement from Dolly? Oh, the big announcement from Dolly was, of course, and again, this is something that I hold near and dear to me personally. When it comes to Dolly, she was talking about, or they were talking about in the dev notes, these bosses are going to be updated. Guys, when it comes to Riz, when it comes to Soren, when it comes to this in general, it was probably the one that I was really taken aback from, is they are going to be updating the guild bosses in here. This is going to be massive. This has been 5 years in the making, 5 years waiting for these bosses to be updated. And it's funny because they also said that they updated these bosses like 2 years ago. I think it said 2 or 3 years ago. They updated how they looked. They didn't update anything else in here. They updated the look of the guild bosses. They brought them up to like a 1080p. High definition animations changed a little bit, but even looking at the gear here, it's garbage. It's complete garbage. They need to do the bosses. And honestly, I want to see them, just like a lot of players have said, I want to see these bosses just like we see over on Companions. I want to see the collaboration of guilds doing incredibly well, different phases, different levels, different resources, different rewards that are coming out of this guild hunt. They could actually backfill AFK Arena with the way that Companions is doing bosses. It is really a clean, smooth way. And it's a lot of ways. If you've played Idle Heroes, if you've played a lot of other games that are kind of similar, the Idle games like AFK Arena, they have done bosses and they have done guilds so much better than they're doing it and that they have done it in AFK Arena. I feel like they need to adjust it. Who is better, Aurelia or Liberta? Liberta. When it comes to AFK Arena, when it comes to still the number one, and for what, probably since release, Liberta is still the absolute number one utility hero that is used in every game mode, can fit into pretty much any formation. As a support hero, we are still seeing Liberta as one of the primary damage dealers in AFK Arena, period. Also does have a lot of healing, which again, some damage dealers like the Awakened version of Athalia don't. This hero's utility, it's kind of crazy. Still sitting at the very, very top of the list themselves. But let's hop in here. So we got our copies of Rendell. That means we're going to do the engraving on there. I also want to do it for Nox. So let's hop in here for the engraving. And again, I'm going to pull up my little tier list. Let's go ahead for the rapid engraving. There is the 30. This is going to be a game changer. When I'm thinking a Cursed Realm, Nightmare Corridor, Treasure Scramble, both of these heroes have an incredible amount of utility, meaning building them up a lot further, getting all of the engraving on here is going to be an absolute game changer with how both of these heroes perform in a multitude of places. Now, also remember, we're taking Thorin to a 40 right now. That is the recommended build for Thorin as well, is taking him to that plus 40 signature item. As I continue to make progression, as we continue to build them up, we're going to do the same. Will they be using the Companions boss as an example? I hope so. Yeah, we can hop over live. We can hop over to Companions in a little bit. I wanted to hop in here, and I believe the last leg of the Misty Valley is up. I want to finish that. So this leaves us, what, about 6,500? I think this leaves us about 6,500 to build these out. But again, this is going to be a game changer with both of these and building this up a little bit further. And again, stat-wise, kind of crazy because we're on level 951. But this is going to amplify the damage in all of the game modes that I'm using Rendell and also the game modes that I'm using Nox, which means we also do need the Oaken. I need to get some furniture out of there. We have 66,000 Poke coins. Let's see, guys, if we can finish these heroes out. And of course, looking in here, we have Nox in here, which has 3. Rendell has 6. So we need a couple more pieces of furniture. Lan, we are building. We can do some summons in here for Lan. And then, of course, we do have Cassius, which needs one more. Is Liberta SI40 mandatory? It's not mandatory, but if you want him to perform kind of above and beyond the regular staple 30, no, the 40 by no means is mandatory at all. But it could be, yeah, it could be. How good is Rendell's utility? It is really good. Rendell? Why do you pronounce Rendell as Rendell? Are you talking? It's Rendell. R-A-N, Randell, D-L-E. That's how I pronounce it. Again, some people say Randall, which I don't. Rendell is different than Randell. So an A versus an I. I don't know, Travis. That's a good question. All right, so let's see. I want to try to finish out. And again, I want to finish out both of them. There's a copy for Cassius. So right off the bat, we get Cassius's 9 of 9 furniture. So that is done in the entirety. So we'll drop Cassius out. This brings in some more of our Awakened heroes and really just continuing to build them much, much higher makes a big difference, amplifying the damage. Even some of them, we do have them maxed out, like right here with Liberta. We have a couple heroes, and I'm almost thinking Aurelia we could build out a little bit further. Let me take a look. What is the TR supposed to start up again? The Twisted Route or the Temple Rift. Temple Rift pretty soon. So Cheesy, it's already going up, I believe, in the next 2 or 3 days with on the test server. On the test server, it's already on the calendar that we're building it up a little bit further. We are just waiting to see it. And I want to take a quick glance and see what we're thinking for furniture, taking some of these heroes kind of past a 9 of 9. I'm almost thinking possibly looking at like a Thorin and building him up a little bit further, or seeing, because again, a lot of heroes don't really require it, short of if you're going into a much higher build, like a whale build. Almost if you're taking them up, if you're building them more into like a whale build, because we can drop Thorin in here and we can build him up a little bit further than where he is, trying to maximize exactly what we have going on with that. I usually wait until the do Temple Rift of how slow it opens. The big thing, JC, is when you get the resets. So there's a point where every single week the Temple Rift is going to reset. I run it a little bit. Again, over on the test server, it's already up, or it's coming up. It's on the calendar. That's Temple Rift. The next season of the Temple Rift is coming. They also shared what the new frames look like, because again, you can kind of see it. Data mine in a couple other places. But yeah, it's pretty neat to see. There's another mythic piece, which is the Awakened version of Iran. I'm going to have to pull up my Recorday's list on what we're making and who we're making to go above the 9 of 9 furniture. There's another piece for Gwen. I'm hoping a couple more pieces of furniture on the table, because I know Nox and Rendell both need them. There's Shamira, there's Leica. We're getting a lot for these Awakened heroes. Haven't seen any for Thorin, but 63,000 Poke coins in here. There we go. So that takes him to, I believe, 7 of 9 for Rendell. That will be good. I'm close to reaching level 600. It takes a long time. It is incredible. There is a copy for Nox. Fingers crossed, guys. Streaming luck that we can get both of these heroes built. And again, we keep getting them for Gwen. We keep getting them from these Awakened heroes. We're also going to have a lot of furniture in here to recycle. 2 on the table, and I think we're going to have 3 that are going to be available. So let's go ahead and equip these. Again, it brings them a lot closer. And I'm almost thinking, you know what? I'm going to finish out. Let me do one more summon, but I'm going to finish out. I'm almost thinking, oh, there we go. Perfect. That is perfect. That is streaming luck, guys, right there. I really hope they remove the common heroes from the Draconic Scrolls. Yeah, they need to add in something else in there to make them a lot more achievable. But there is this streaming luck, guys. There is a copy of the hero we're looking for, and another card right there with the recycle that will give us 1 copy that we need. Could we pull, fingers crossed, could we pull 1 more mythic piece? It is going to be, no, it is just going to be legendary. That's okay. That's okay. I know that was really, really lucky. Just got past 650, the essence grind. Yeah, and I know, Eddie, a lot of players, again, that's something that Dolly was kind of talking about, was the difficulty of the essence. Once you get to a certain point within AFK Arena, you kind of hit that essence wall and you can't go any further, or you don't accumulate any essence faster. That was another thing, you know, that a lot of players were kind of chatting about, is there is a built-in wall. And honestly, it is built in just by the way that AFK Arena is built, that the essence stops, so you can't gain as many levels as fast. It's definitely be there. After getting a Highborn to Ascended, can we pull them in the Stargazer? No, you cannot, Ghazi. That is part of the problem. So once you get a Highborn hero up to Ascended, you need more copies of him. You have to continue building him the very, very old school traditional way. And again, when you look at the sheer cost of that, it's incredible how expensive it is to build those out. It is kind of crazy, but there we go. So when you think of Rendell himself, so we got a 30 engraving, we got a 60 engraving, we added the 9 of 9 furniture in there, and then for Nox, we did the 30 engraving, we did the 60 engraving. This is going to be, again, a game changer for the placement in the Cursed Realm, the Nightmare Corridor, and the Treasure Scramble, since all 3 of these heroes are being used in all 3 of those game modes. And also for LAN, we have a lot of furniture already for LAN. As it sits today, we have a ton in here for LAN. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Already have 9 of 9 furniture for LAN. Again, there's going to be a point where we're going to have LAN built, get the furniture on there. Already have the 9 of 9, which is good. We could swap that hero out, but does make a big difference. Yeah, Awakened Thorn is OP, absolutely. What's going on, Jaffa? I hope next month they put out a plan to revamp the Draconic Hero summons. What I hope, JC, is they add us or give us an opportunity to build them. There we go. There's highest floor number 10. We have been farming number 10 every single time. Out of here, we've been getting all of these Draconic insignias. And of course, when it comes to build, there's 1, there's 2, there's 30 Draconic insignias. Since I have all of those built, we are buying these Draconic scrolls, and we're going to continue. We can buy them out every single time. So when, and essentially when we have a new Draconic hero coming, we already have 90 Draconic scrolls, which is awesome. In the Dragonheart Temple, you can see we are still looking for land. We have 26 here, but I cannot wait for the 50 we're going to get, plus the discounted ones, plus all the free ones when Skyland comes. It's going to be awesome. What's going on, Farsad? What has happened? Finished the Awakening run, now planning to saving the game with emblems. Yeah, you always have to, and it's really a build forever, guys. This is a game with new heroes coming out every 2 weeks. There's never going to be a point where really everyone's built, short of being a mega whale and building them all out when they come out. It's kind of crazy. But even looking at the new Draconic hero that's coming, I am not going to build the new Draconic hero. I am Skyland. I am passing in the entirety, because essentially what I feel is I can build land, and it is going to take me an extended amount of time, because even with the release of the new hero, I am not going to have land, and I'm not going to be able to build land all the way up to that ascended with the 1-star. It's going to take a lot more time. So Skyland is one that I am choosing just to pass, or just to skip at this point. I'm not going to. I'm not going to at this. I stopped buying Dragon School for and go for the core. Yeah, the Draconic heroes, guys, the cost is just too high. They need to come up, and they really do need a better way to build these Draconic heroes, because like we've said kind of from the beginning, the cost of these heroes are way too high for what they bring to the game. Even if they open it up with, hey, you can pull them out of the Stargazer once they're ascended, that would be a game-changing difference. But again, a lot of players are still waiting for and hoping for, including myself, that when it comes to the Field of Stars, they forgot the Ancora Star. I'm hoping this is going to have an update. This is going to be a game changer, and it's going to be a game changer for 1, Arcane Staffs, 2, Draconic heroes. Those are the 2 big updates that I want to see. And really with these stars, they could make a big difference where, again, including like, let's say, Arcane Staffs within AFK rewards, that would be a game changer in here to build these, making it easier to get the insignias, or even having the ability to buy insignias with diamonds out of the shop. I feel like it would make a big difference. On the test server, a new hero hint. Yes, there is a new hero hint. I don't exactly remember what it was. Skyland most likely to break down. Yeah, the damage he puts out is kind of crazy. Skyland puts out a lot of Draconic damage, and puts out a lot of Draconic damage very, very fast, is what we're seeing. So when you think of game modes and thinking of something like the Nightmare Corridor, that is what Skyland is built for. Skyland is built for very high burst damage that is going to, again, Curse or Nightmare Corridor part, it's gonna last, 15, 20 seconds, and then you're gonna have the ability to essentially kill the boss, and that's it. It'll be game over. Look at all these resources we're getting out of here, guys, with Rendell. And then of course, a lot of players also wondering, and I know this is really minute details, is the Treat Spectator, the Dragon Realm Guardian. So this is not called Kilgore, I forget that's not his name. But then when you look at in here, Rendell Thorin, and then the Cursed Conjurer. I don't know why they didn't put Nox. I don't know why they changed it up in here. And I don't know. And again, a player pointed this out to me on why are these not consistent with the naming convention when it comes to the advanced ship. I don't know. I don't know. Is there a way you can show the test server live? I have to log into a different app. There's a different application. There's a different way for the test server. Guild Hunt is done. The Beast Exchange is almost done as well. Cleaning all of this out. And then, of course, I can hop back in here. I can finish the rest of my dailies later. Making sure, again, that you're maximizing everything that you can do in AFK Arena every single day. It makes a big difference. Is it too late to start AFK Arena again from the beginning? So the big thing, Farshad, is when you think of AFK Arena today, and thinking of the wish list and thinking of the primary heroes really to build, no. There's a lot of heroes in here. And honestly, when you start looking at the older heroes from probably when you originally played, there's not really, most of the old heroes are not used anymore. Even looking, you could prioritize all of the new wish list heroes. It would make a big difference on how fast you could level them up, how much progression you could make. And honestly, it's easier. Again, a lot of the older heroes, you're not going to have, or you're not going to be there. So you alluded that a lot of stuff is coming this holiday season. Anything we can say? Not yet, Tommy. Don't worry. There's a couple things that are coming, but nothing that we can kind of go into depth yet. There's also a lot of speculation which coming up in the holiday season. But stay tuned. There's going to be some pretty cool things and some pretty fun things. As a free-to-play, new meta heroes needing SI40 is laughable at this point. Yes, And that's it, Asta, where if you're free to play, there's really no way to build them faster than you're building them. You really have to go through and prioritize and really build who you can. Again, plus 40 signature items, even here on my account, are incredibly hard to build because they're not giving us a regular income of the chests themselves, which again could be a very good alteration when it comes to like the Field of Stars. We could see a good adjustment in there, but overall, the income, the actual income to get the red chest, to get some of these draconic chests, it's not there. Even looking, right here at our epic emblem chest, looking at the red chest, it's very, very difficult to get them and to get them at the quantity that you need them to build those plus 40s. It's very hard. How high should free to play build Nox? Honestly, 309.60. When you think of Nox, that is kind of the basic build, even where I have him, and I know he moved here. 309.60. When it comes to these heroes, and again, when it comes to support heroes, I put a little bit more emphasis on the support heroes because the support heroes do not, and really they do not, they're not replaced as fast as we see traditional damage dealing heroes. The support heroes seem to have the staying power. Even when you think of like the AFK guys and the guide that they put out, most of the heroes that are in there, when you look at the support classification, if you don't have them all built, you're still going to have the ability and utility of a lot of the older support heroes. They're still going to work. Just because a hero in a meta formation is replaced, it doesn't mean by any means that the older hero is replaced, that he's obsolete, that we're not using him anymore. If you do not have all the heroes built, absolutely 100%, you're still going to be using a lot of the older heroes in AFK Arena are good ones. Mita and Villanelle are the only ones. So yeah, Villanelle's another one. Villanelle is still used in a lot of different places, still, again, has a lot of utility. Again, if you don't have every single hero built in AFK Arena, some of those core primary 4 faction support heroes will have a ton of utility and continue to. Are there any updated teams for the round of HOE? I mean, not really. And even with the Heroes of Espria, I came in here, I believe yesterday. Most of the teams, most of the PvP teams are very consistent, is what we've seen. Even here, I got farmed a little bit further up. You can see Goodbye and a couple other heroes. But overall, when it comes to building these out, even when we go to, the very, very top tier, you can look at the PvP teams that they're utilizing. And even a lot of these are the same that we've seen before. Even looking right here at some of, the Draconic heroes. But overall, even right here, like we were talking earlier with the Awakened version of Thorn and Nox, very, very strong kind of stall team that we're seeing in here. Nox runs away so he doesn't get killed. But you can see a lot of these are very similar formations that we've seen in the past. And ultimately with PvP, it's very difficult because it is super dependent on the heroes you have built. Also, very, very dependent on the heroes that you have available to build. That's the big thing. So why is your Villanelle? I ran out of resources. That was my big thing, Primo. So even looking again on the list itself, I believe Villanelle, they do recommend building at a 30. Let me see where Villanelle is. Villanelle, 2330 is basic build. 3935 is kind of the optimal build that they have on here. So building up the attack a little bit further, which again, I'm going to have to go through. I always, and I recommend you guys doing this as well, is when it comes to really fine tuning heroes and building up or min-maxing heroes. That's the reason why with Nox, with Rendell, why I didn't build them up any higher, is there is very specific ways to engrave them like above the 60. Like if we go to a 65, if we go to a 67, if we're building them up a little bit further, I make sure I check, I double check, I triple check before I go in here. And I do build out the heroes a little bit further. I make sure exactly how I want to build them, where I want to build them to, and make sure that I do have them built. Is the Hippo Chimera any good? He is, Luis. He's still, again, a lot of utility within the Chimera hero. Not as much utility, but again, if you're looking at having every single hero built, when you start looking at Kanisa and Rook, when you start looking at Chimera, overall utility for the hero, again, doesn't go down still has a lot of utility, still seeing, again, if you don't have all of the heroes built, heroes like this are still seeing quite a bit of utility in different formations because you don't have everyone built. That is where I really do caution when it comes to meta formations, when it comes to a lot of different builds. Meta formations are really built on you having every hero built and you having every hero built to the optimal build. That is something you definitely have to remember. You know, there's not going to be a point, again, unless you're a really, really big whale building out these heroes and min-maxing everyone that you have within AFK Arena, that you're going to have all of these heroes built, that you're going to have them essentially to the optimal build without a major investment. That's one of the really big things to remember is heroes fundamentally, even with the plus 30 signature item, they will work. And I think we need Torn and Walker. Guys, be honest. When's the last time you used Walker? I want to know in the chat. Let me know. So we got Torn, and then we have Walker, which is down here. And Walker, unfortunately, I don't even have a signature item on him. He's a hero that I've never built. Torn had utility for a little bit, but not as much anymore. Kinisa and Rook. And I know, again, some of the translation, like when you talk of Chimera, that is the transition or the translation. Some of those are named Chimera, just like here we have the Oak Inn. Some people still have the Whale Inn. That's originally what it was called. It's the translation of some of them that we've seen a little bit different, but that is Chimera. That is Chimera. Yeah, Kinisa and Rook. Again, is buying the monthly chest still worth it? I do, Jordan. So that is the one thing literally that we have done for a multitude of years. When you think of the monthly chest, when you look at the deluxe monthly chest, you're getting Stargazer scrolls out of there, or excuse me, you're getting time emblems out of there, or diamonds, depending on your choice. You are getting red chests, and you are getting your engraving cores. You're getting your elemental cores. Those are literally the three biggest things within AFK Arena to build heroes. When, again, you think of that deluxe monthly chest, that is probably the one absolute best purchase if you're still putting money into this game, Jordan. That I do, and I always recommend buying because you are getting every single thing that you need to build a hero within that chest, and you're getting it every single day, which makes a difference. When you start putting this game out and building it out, 30 days, then you start thinking of 6 months, then you start thinking of 12 months. Yes, it's a game changer when you think of 12 months of that monthly card. I mean, you're talking 365 extra time emblems out of there. You're talking tens of thousands of cores and red chests. Yes, it really is. I miss the time when SI40 wasn't a thing. I 100% agree with you. Because before we got the level 40 or the plus 40 signature items, it was a lot more easier. But you can say that about anything. Before we had the engraving, before we had the furniture, before we had beasts, it was a lot easier. And that's where Companions is coming in. Companions still super basic on the build with the heroes. It is a very, very basic. All heroes on the back line must be Rangers. That's kind of the way that I see it. When it comes to AFK Companions, it's a very basic version of AFK Arena. And that's exactly what it is. Never I cry every time. Every time you get him in the Misty Valley. Yeah, the Misty Valley is a must. You guys, Misty Valley is a place that you always have to farm. Again, when you think of the resource generation in here, when you think of how many things you get within this game mode, it's incredible. It's incredible how much they do give us in this game mode. I never used Walker. There you go. Since the Bountiful Trials. Is Nox good in PvP mode? Yes, Flex. Because why do you say Rendell instead of Rendell? Just kidding. I found. Yeah. Oh, I know, Jordan. Like I said, I've gotten it forever. Doesn't even faze me with the pronunciation. And some of them, it's funny too, because some people will say, and I think it was, I forgot the other one. Who do we got? Leica and Nemisu. I'll have people say that I am doing the pronunciation wrong, and then I will pronunciate it a different way, And Jordan, some people will say the other pronunciation is wrong. So it's almost like you have the left side and the right side, and they're saying it's wrong, and then I say it their way, and they say it's wrong on the right side. To me, it's pretty comical between the pronunciation of the names, because it is very, very different depending where you live. I've lived in California, I've lived down south, I've lived overseas, I've lived in a lot of different places, and the pronunciation of words is very different depending where you are. And that's what I've noticed. I've noticed. Speaking of bees, 2 of 8 at level 18 currently. I would probably get 18 resonance 2 years. Asta, honestly, I would focus in there for the beast. So what I did, and if you guys recall, it was months that I went in there and I was farming out baits out of every single thing in the world that I could get baits out of. I was doing it. I was farming them out of every single event, every single chest, any single place that I could get baits. Now for me, because we put a little bit into AFK Arena, I also bought all of the noble societies, which were baits out of things like this, the Misty Valley. We got all of the baits everywhere that we were farming it. And once you get it to Beast 18, it's done. That is something, guys, you have to remember, is once you do get all of the beasts, once you get them up to that Beast Resonance 18, you're done. You don't have to deal with it anymore. It's incredibly easy. What is the optimal build for Nox? 30960. I would go in flex. Let me see. So we're talking Nox here. Optimal build for Nox. And again, I have this little, my side screen open. 40960. That is the optimal for Nox, is a 40960 for where you want to build them. Here we have Graveborn. So Nox, again, a little bit of a bigger build. If you only have the 30, then honestly, that is what it is. You know, if you don't have the resources, like I don't have the resources to take Nox to a 40, leaving Nox at a 30 might be your only option. But yeah, 40960 is where they have them. Doesn't have it at a 65, doesn't have it anything else flex. That is where they built the Hero 2. How much do you spend on AFK Arena every month? So AFK Arena, we have a budget, and our budget for AFK Arena was $100. Now, with that being said, it has been a long time since we've actually spent $100 into AFK Arena. Right now for this game, I put around $50, and I can show you guys in a minute because this is the end of the Misty Valley. Then we'll hop over to Companions. We'll check that out for a little bit. But yeah, and what we recommend to buy for $20 a month? $20 a month, Fran, I'll show you in a minute. But 100%, I would, above everything, would recommend. And I don't know what's going on with Namora down here. Namora's looking pretty tough, guys. We might have to build a copy of Namora because that took an incredible amount of time to kill out Namora. Went without any warrior or support. So no warrior, no support in here. We'll go ahead, we'll drop these out. And you know what? Let's go with some tanks. Let's see what our tanking crew can do right here. But overall, yeah. Here's a Vesperia team comps. That is super difficult. When it comes to PvP, Martin, the reason is everybody has heroes completely built, completely different. You can go in there, you can look at your optimal build, you can look at what other players are running. It is going to be ultra very dependent on, and there we go, that's all done, on what heroes you possess. That is something to really put into perspective. So we do have Rendell in here. Now, of course, we did get the copies. I did engrave him, and since I did, I'm going to go ahead and pick another copy out of there. We also do have our Draconic Scrolls down here. But looking at this, you'll notice right off the bat, because I have all of my beasts all up to 18. My beast resonance level is 18. I have 0 baits in here. There are no baits to be seen in here because once you get to beast resonance 18, it's going to be a slow build to build them with whatever resources you get. But overall, this is where you want to focus on building out your beasts up until 18. Once you hit 18, don't worry about it anymore because you'll get to a point where, again, when you think of beasts itself, and I've done some min-maxing with the beasts just because we have the essence. All of this, I mean, we have another 800 in here. Even looking here, level 27, 23, 23. All of the beasts that we have in here in their entirety are just copies that we've been getting. And again, using some of the guides that we've seen for some of the beast guides, we've been building them up kind of one by one, little by little. But I'm not farming any of the resources. All of the resources, everything that I am getting out of this game mode is just what is coming in for free from a bunch of different sources. We're not buying them. We're not using chests for them. We're not using anything for them at all. And that's kind of the basis. So first glance, boom, we got 4 more cards. Before we hop over to companions, let me hop in the merchants. I'm going to show you again what we're getting. How high should free-to-play build knocks? Again, free-to-play, the optimal build is at 309.60. That is the optimal build. So looking in here, like we said, so think of our $100 budget that we have in here. I buy the monthly cards. So if you're putting anything, and I know you had said 20 bucks, Fran, 20 bucks right here, $14.99 for your deluxe monthly card, $5.99 for the monthly card, or $4.99. This is your 20 bucks. This is going to give you the optimal build. You're going to have the ability to get time emblems. You're going to get your red chests, and you're also going to get your elemental cores. Those are the highest priority period in AFK Arena. This $14.99, this $15 pack is by far the best purchase, short of if you're looking to buy the advancement bundles. I don't have any of the advancement bundles in here. The advancement bundles give you access to 4,500 diamonds, which of course, when it comes to Celestials and Hypos, even building and getting additional copies of those Awakened Heroes, that advancement reward pack for 4,500 diamonds is the best purchase. This is the second purchase. Now, Noble Society, you'll notice I didn't buy the Champions of Espria. In the Twisted Bounties, we picked this up. Now, the reason why I bought this one instead of the Champions of Espria this month is in here, I wanted the Poke Coins. I wanted to get the furniture on Nox. I wanted to get the furniture when it came to Rendell. They are 2 of the ones that I wanted to focus. So next iteration, I'm going to buy the premium pass. Here, we buy these. So if you remember, the basic pass is just what it is. When we buy the second one, it's $24.99. So right here, we're spending $20. In here, we're spending $24.99 for that deluxe path. That puts us at, what, 45 bucks? That's all we buy. I don't buy the Regal Rewards. I don't buy anything else. So where we have that $100 budget, we are putting, and we put about 45 bucks in here. That's it. And even when it comes to the 45 bucks, even thinking of, Tushar, which was awesome to see the 5 gifting memberships, what I put into AFK Arena, most of it comes from the stream, comes from AdSense, comes from the revenue generated through YouTube that I put back into AFK Arena. And that's kind of what we've been doing for years at this point. So a lot of players say, just spend more, spend more, spend more. Guys, I have a finance channel. I'm very, very cognizant of what the return is, what the cost is to put money into games like this. If you cannot afford it, do not put anything into AFK Arena. Stay completely free to play. But if you want to put a little bit in here, be careful, because it does kind of open the gateway of putting it in there. Yeah, the limited deals are really good for the 20 bucks, depending what it is. So depending on what you have in here, what the limited deal is, who you're building, how you're building them. Again, if you're staying and really sticking to a very tight budget, there are ways to do it that make sense versus putting a lot more money into AFK Arena. And like I said, we're at about 45 bucks a month, and that's all we put. And even then, when you think about 45 bucks, is the Noble Societies do not run 30 days to 30 days. So it's even probably a little bit less than that because of what we're putting in here, and it does go over. Is the subscription worth buying? For $2.99, you could. I think I might still have the subscription too, just because, again, when you think longevity-wise, where's the subscription? Yeah, I think I do. Yeah, I have this $2.99 subscription. And the thing here is, when you think of your guild coins, your labyrinth tokens, this is pretty good, just for the simple fact of making progression a little bit easier. So, I mean, what are we at? $47. But making progression a little bit faster, this is going to make a big difference. When you look at what you can buy in the store with your guild coins, what you can buy in the store with your labyrinth tokens, getting and generating some more of those is really going to make it a lot faster and a lot easier to buy everything you want out of here with our guild store and with the labyrinth store. Again, this is going to be a big part where you can make progression a little bit faster. Even here, let's go ahead. Let's pick up some more of those pull coins. That's 2 more summons. And I know we did get some return for some of the other players. We're also looking, I have 400 space emblems. There's 450 space emblems. I buy stuff out of here like crazy, and it never really goes away. And you'll always use it. You'll always buy them. Only spending 60 bucks a month. Yeah, and that's it, Darren. So I do the same. It's very easy to limit what you're buying in here and really making sure that you stick to that budget. Let's hop over. I want to show you companions, and I want to show you where we are within the within season 1 of the Vault of Time. So let's swap this over and we'll take a look at it. Never bought a climbers pack with 45k diamonds. I wonder how many diamonds I would get if we were to buy them right now with the progression. It would give you all of them. So if you've already made the progression, Asta, it will give you 45,000 diamonds when you start, which is pretty cool. It will get them. Yeah, when you start buying, it gets addicting. That's it, Travis. And that is why I have stuck very, very closely to the budget. We've talked about it before when it comes to putting money into these games. It is just a very slippery slope if you're not disciplined with it, if you don't know exactly what you're putting in there. Gift received. Munir ranked number 2 in the Arena of Heroes. Very cool. But I want to hop over and I want to show you. So guild-wise, I believe we're all still active. I've been watching this. D2, big shout out to D2. I haven't seen him on the stream, but Guild Hall, we have been making sure that everyone 3 days ago right there slayed Necros. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to delete. This is going to remove, no, I think I have to do it different on the guild. So we are going to remove, and I'm wondering if that, oh, that took him off the friends list. I'm going to have to see because I think maybe it's up here. Maybe it's not. Maybe that did it. 30 of 30. Again, if you are not active, I have been removing people in here. Block report. Point. I think it might be somewhere else. I'm gonna have to look in here because I know there's a place to manage, and I thought for some reason it was in here that we could do. I'm gonna have to check this out because again, guys, we need active players in here. If you're not active within here, you're not active in the Guild of Time. They should reduce how much it takes to increase VIP. Yes, that would be awesome. Oh, AFK Arena, free to play. How many cards do you have ready? What do you have ready? Are you going to be summoning? I'm not going to be summoning him. Unfortunately, at this point, I'm not. So looking at where we are progression-wise within the Vault of Time, I want to hop on here. There we go. We've been offline for 14 hours, but you can see that we have pushed. This boss is dead. I got to get to Marquise, so I need my level 3 core relics. I've been farming these up right here. We're on level 2. Let's go ahead and build this up a little bit further. We've been trying to push this. And again, we're not coming in here. This is not an account with companions that we're being ultra competitive, that we're trying to compete against everyone else. Guys, we're coming in here for loot. So there is level 3. Tank, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. That is what we needed. Level 2 right here. We might have enough to actually build this up to Marquee. But now we are moving and really making a beeline for the final boss. Gonna be easy to go through here. And again, when you think of players that are active within the guild itself, if they're not logging in, if we're not seeing them being active, we have to remove them because game modes like this makes it a really game changer to go in this. How do you change your teammate on companions? You have to drop the companion. Tickle Me, it was weird when I did it. So there we go. There is Marquise, tile limit, and plus another 5 tiles on there, which is awesome. Now at this point, you'll notice 7 legendary blessed relics. So we need to get a lot more relics built up and take land in the corroded land, which is in here. So we can start moving in here in the corroded land, taking these because we need 5 more. And then of course, we're at the boss. Even on the bottom side down here, we're right at this boss. We need to kill this one. And then of course, we're looking at the final boss, which is going to be here. There's going to be a lot of pathing. You can see this little purple path that they actually created. So we can go through, since this boss is already done in the entirety, we can go through and just continue, which it looks like we have to kill some more camps. I don't think you can go through, until the camps are done. Yeah, we have to kill the camps in here. That's okay, we will. Again, we're almost to 10,000 right here. You can see we branched out. A lot of players getting a lot more essence. But I am at the point where we're going to go ahead and build this up a little bit further. I can feasibly, and I have been able to take tier 6s. 6s haven't been too tough. I believe 7s at this point will go yellow, which they do. 8s are probably still red, I'm assuming. Yeah, those are still going to be 3 formations. Those are still going to be red. So again, getting 6 and 7s at this point with our another 5, going to make a big difference going through here, making progression. And of course, heroes. We have talked about this when it comes to the adjustments, giving feedback to Lilith in regards to companions. It has been just incredibly difficult to make progression because we're not getting the scrolls, not getting the Stargazer cards, not getting the resources that we need to make progression within here. And that's where players are stuck. Even right now, we're in chapter 22. And again, we moved a couple more places into chapter 22 as we're building a couple more of these heroes out. But even essence-wise, we are still, I mean, thousands of essence away from where we need to be. Even here, you know, building out Shamira, we finally hit 200, but it is a really tough grind in here. Did he skip Ian or Gwen? What do you mean? How did you get, oh, got 700, 750 when it comes out. Yeah, how did you get that many cards? Skipped landing Gwen. Well, there you go. If you didn't build anyone at this point, free to play, absolutely going to have everything that he needs to build up Skyland. And I'm hoping, and if you are planning to build Skyland, guys, I always say this every single time. Make sure you wait, give it about 2 weeks after release. You have to see where the hero is being used, if the hero is being used. My biggest fear in even going into AFK Arena is I don't want you to go ahead and build out a hero and then the hero have very limited or no utility, because you're going to waste an incredible amount of resources for a hero that you're not going to use. You have to, and again, you have to make sure that the heroes you're building have a lot of utility, that the heroes are being used in different formations. That's why I always say don't run out and just build the hero. You have to wait. You have to wait, because also remember, so for instance, on Free to Play Life, he's going to use all of those cards to get the copies that he needs of Skyland. Once you have Skyland in another probably, hopefully 2 to 3 months, we will see another Awaken or another Highborn Draconic hero. Now you don't have any. And that's it. And now you're kind of stuck, because once you go ahead and you utilize all of those resources, you don't have them for future release heroes. So making sure, again, that you're going to have the ability, or that you're going to, the hero utility is going to be there. Always loving your content. Oh, thank you. Thank you guys for joining us, guys. Like I always say, I love doing the streams. I love being able to talk to you guys, going through the content in AFK Arena, going through everything in Companions. 2236 is where we are now. What I've been farming lately is the towers. The towers have been a place where, even looking here, guys, we went 16 levels up in this one. I went 10 levels so far up in the tree. Here we went 7 more floors. Tower Light, I don't think I did yet, but these are what we're looking for. When it comes to building out these heroes and when it comes to building out everything itself, these rare Lightbearer cards are the biggest absolute game changer. So even parking right here, I finally got that ascended version of Belinda. We have Rowan, and we're continuing to build more and more heroes. We can auto battle through this, makes it incredibly easy if we can clean and take out some of these floors. Guys, it's a slow, steady progression for everything that we're doing here. It does. The towers are what you need. When you talk about progression and the ability to make progression, guys, it's the towers. The towers are the big point that I feel like most players do overlook. Because similar to what we see with some of the chests, some of, you know, the deluxe monthly cards, the towers are the place that you will get every single resource you need to build them out in their entirety. I'm holding cards until we know how good the new Draconic here. Land is exceptionally useful. Yeah, that's the big thing, Marco, is when you think of land, and we talk about this quite a bit, when it comes to the ability to build out a new hero, but also having the ability to essentially have the resources. And when it comes to support heroes, when it comes to land, when it comes to specifically our support heroes, they have a lot more utility. In Companions, do they add heroes regularly? Yes, they are. So we know we just got Damon, which was added. Before that, we did get, and I believe it was not Gwen, Nevi. Nevi came, and now Damon came, and then the next one is coming, the original version of Aziz. That is the next one, JC, that is going to be coming. They're giving us 50 free insignias. Now we only need a Draconic Tower. Yeah, if they did that, I want to see the Dimensional Tower. I want to see the Draconic Tower. I want to see both of them. So many players stuck at 22. Yes, Primo, everyone is stuck at 22. And again, we know it, again, traditionally, if you remember AFK Arena, there are points within AFK Arena where you're going to get stuck and you do get stuck. It's what we traditionally see. They have almost systematic breaking points. Even over the last 5 years in the classic version, there were places like the end of chapter 28 where we literally had hundreds of players at the end of chapter 28. They couldn't make any progression. They couldn't move any further. And again, it was by design that you had to get essentially to a certain point to be able to make any more progression. It's, again, what we've seen kind of traditionally, that it's been a lot more difficult to get through content, and they do it intentionally. If the game ever struggles, they could just release the dimension. Yeah, there you go. All is forgiven. That is going to be free-to-play life. The forgiven is going to be the towers. Yeah, Draconic Towers might be a little early. Dimensional Towers, absolutely. Dragon Forge is the tower there. So the big thing with the Dragon Forge, though, is they've never done anything with it. That's what I don't like. How good do you expect Skyland to be in terms of ranking? Honestly, Blue, right now, it's too early. It's too early to tell. Again, we know, looking at the build, looking at the design of Skyland and how he's built, burst damage is there. He is going to be totally burst damage, and he is very, very high burst damage. We don't know, again, the capacity or how that's going to translate when it comes to, you know, the Cursed Realm and, of course, the Treasure Scramble. Only time will tell. That's why I say the test server, of course, we have seen this traditionally, Blue, is when they come up on the test server, because there's not as many players, and especially now there's not as many players, we're going to have to see what it looks like, what it's going to look like kind of a longer term, if there's going to be a lot of utility in there. Again, time. Time will tell where the hero is being used. When they come up on global, when they have the ability to see exactly where the hero is being used. I know that Skyland will be in or on a rotation. Yeah, Primo, I know Skyland is going to be used. That's a given. When you give a hero that much damage and that much very, very strong damage right out of the gate, and of course, there's a little bit of a difference with Skyland because it is Draconic Speak damage. So the damage, he's not dealing straight damage like traditional heroes do. It is the Dragon Speak damage. That is one of the reasons why when you look at Hilduin, when you look at Gwen, some of their damage goes and really has a much higher top end, is because it's Dragon Speak damage. It is not the regular damage that we're seeing the heroes providing right here. It's a little bit different with the Dragon Speak damage. Yeah, I feel like he's going to be in a rotation. But overall, like I said, Primo, I'm not building him, and I know there's a lot of players that can't build him, regardless of how much you want to build the hero, how high you want to build him. A lot of players can't. There's not a way to build him because you don't have access to any more resources to build him. So again, it's going to take time to see what that looks like. But if you don't have resources to build the hero, you can't build the hero, including myself. I can't build a hero. I don't have the resources, and I will not have the resources. So I'm not building Skyland like I had said earlier. I don't have the insignias. I'm trying to finish out land. Right now, I still need a total of 9 more copies of land to get land actually built up to that 1-star with the Ascension. That's going to take a long time. That is going to take a long time to get there. Which hero should I go? SI40, Awakened, Thorin, Gavis, Aurelia, or Lava? Out of those two, Thorin and Aurelia would be the choice, Ali. If you want to build up Thorin a little higher, you can. Aurelia is higher on the tier list, and Aurelia, even looking at the tier list, has said the plus 40 signature item is highly recommended for Aurelia. I would go with Aurelia or Thorin. Like I said, both of those are going to work incredibly well. Even for me personally, I do not have Gavis built up with a plus 40 signature item. Don't have enough mats. Like I've said before, we've kind of run out of the materials to build any of these heroes up higher. It's just going to take time to get a lot more resources to be able to build them up a little bit further. Before I forget, guys, I know we're just a little bit over time. I want to hop in. I want to make sure that we do the gifting of the membership. I don't want to miss this. I love doing this every time. And like I said, seeing the little hippos right next to your name, it's very cool to see. For me personally, I do really like it. So there is the gifting of the membership, which goes out to Mike. There you go. Congratulations, Mike. Again, I love doing these gifting of the memberships. I love seeing all of those little hippos like what Jordan has right there. For me, it is very cool, but I'm going to have to go in here. I'm going to have to farm a lot more of these towers out. And I'm almost wondering if we can pop up in some of our cards. Boom, there we go. And then we can also go in the Temple of Ascension. Hopefully pick up some more of these Elite Plus heroes, which there we go. So looking at another copy of Angelo. And this is just going to take time. So my next focus on here is, of course, going to be Rosaline. We could build out Sonya. We could look at a couple other heroes, but Rosaline, absolutely, I want to build out further. We almost have enough to actually take this hero up to that ascended level. We have 2 ascended here. Here we are none. When it comes to Maulers, unfortunately, this is one where we need a couple more copies of Titus. But when it comes to this overall, very difficult to build. We have 3 ascended heroes already in here, most of them almost to 5 stars. I want to finish them off to 5 stars so we can put some new heroes in there. And then, of course, we only have Shamira in here waiting for food like we do forever within Companions. The food and the ability to generate and get more copies of these heroes is incredibly difficult. It seems like, again, they gave us so many copies of the elite heroes, of those 4, you know, the faction heroes, the 4 faction heroes. We have gotten so many copies of the heroes themselves, but they're not giving us the food. We're running really, really short on the food as well. Is Hippo a Kraken with infinite money? No, not at all, Cheesy. I spend about $50, and $50 is my limit. So when you think of Kraken, we're talking thousands of dollars. I am not even close to that. How do you get infinite red chest? Yeah, you have an infinite credit card. That's really all you got. Thorin fall apart without the SI40. There you go. So Thorin will fall apart, which I don't have Thorin at a 40. Stall team still does work pretty well. The PvP team still does work pretty well. So it's cool to see, guys. But all right, so that is going to do it for today's video, guys. Thank you guys so much for all of the love and support, all of the donations of the gifting of the memberships, all the videos, all the views. I mean, we're going on 40,000 subscribers, which is kind of crazy for a YouTube channel, especially only following one single game, which is AFK Arena. But we are almost 40,000 strong, which is awesome to see. So guys, again, thank you guys for joining me. All the love and support for the channel. Every single week that we're doing this, I love doing the live streams, being able to talk to you guys, going through, you know, answering questions, having all of the content, but also being able to talk to you guys. So we know Skyland patch notes coming up on Monday. New heroes coming up on Tuesday, if you're building them or not. Overall, like I said, I am not building them. I'm going to continue building out and really getting land to that ascended level. That way we can engrave, that way we can build it up a little bit further, making a really big difference. So again, guys, awesome to see you guys, talk to you guys, being able to chat to you guys about a game that we absolutely love. So have a great Sunday. I'm gonna go watch the Lions game. They are playing right now. Fingers crossed, Super Bowl, fingers crossed that we're gonna have a really good season. We have so far. Regardless of who you're rooting for, I root for the Lions here in Detroit, which is where I'm from. So guys, again, that's going to do it for today's video. Have a great weekend. Thank you guys for watching.